Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, I thought of asking you in the last class. So, where are you all from? You're all from Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh?
Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Okay, cool.
What
Hyderabad.
about you, sir?
No. I just asked where you from, because if you all know Telugu, we can continue in Telugu if you are comfortable with it. Otherwise, we can go ahead with English. So that's why I asked. So in the last class, what did we discuss?
We discussed about Linux.
Okay, we discussed about Linux. Good. Okay, that is great. What did we discuss in Linux?
We got to know what Linux is.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And why Linux is used. Correct.
Yes.
And then we have also seen how we use DevOps in day-to-day life. Correct.
Correct.
And then we have also seen how companies work, how things work, how usually releases are pushed. What is this continuous deployment or continuous development or continuous delivery that is happening? Correct.
We also learned about cloud service providers.
Correct. We also learned about cloud service providers, what are the types, and what is cloud,
Yeah.
We have seen all these things in the yesterday's class, and then we have boiled it down to learning step by step, and then we have discussed about Linux. Correct?
Correct.
Right. 1 second, give me a moment, all right?
Mhm.
So, yes. So in today's class, we will be talking about few more basics of Linux. Okay?
Okay.
So today we will be talking about something called Linux architecture. Okay?
Okay.
Linux architecture. Let me run pbrush for a moment and open the paint.
We are not able to see your screen actually.
Yes, I'll share the screen. I'm opening things. So
Okay, fine,
give
no
me a
issues.
moment. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let us draw a few things here. Okay. We are discussing about architecture of Linux today. Okay. This architecture of Linux will make you understand how Linux works. Okay.
Okay.
If you see the Linux architecture, it looks like onion cut in the middle. Correct?
Yeah.
Ganesh, I forgot to tell you, we have to give them the video. Please provide the video of today and tomorrow. Today and yesterday. I'm sorry. Okay. So these are the layers that are there inside the Linux architecture. That is right. Okay. First classes, no, let us take it slow. Okay. So let us not take it really fast, because there is a chance that you may mess it up. So there are several layers inside the Linux architecture. The first layer is hardware. Okay. Second layer is
Kernel.
The third layer is shell. The fourth layer is application. So let us see what happens. So you know hardware, correct? We have discussed about the hardware. We have discussed about the hardware. I'm getting a call. Hardware. So hardware. When we are talking about the hardware, what is hardware? Hardware is the physical components of your machine, correct?
Right.
Hardware understands machine language. Machine language is nothing but bits and bytes of information, which is zeros and ones, combination of zeros and ones, correct?
Yes.
The second one is kernel. This is important. Okay. This is really important. Kernel is like heart of the operating system. Kernel is statically compiled with the drivers of generic hardware. Drivers of
Generic hardware.
This acts as an interface between shell and the hardware. It takes commands from the shell and processes them by using the low-lying hardware. Okay.
What is this low-lying hardware?
Let us talk. Just understand things for now. Okay.
Okay.
Just focus on what we are writing there. Let us talk about it once we wrote everything. Okay.
Sure.
Shell is a command line interpreter. Shell is a command line interpreter. Whatever command is entered through an application is taken by the shell and given to the kernel for further processing. There are many types of shells available. If you want to know the list of shells available, the command for it is more space /etc by shells. Don't go with the command, just understand the command. Okay, just remember this command, more /etc by shells. We will talk about the command later, because once we install the operating system, we will talk about this command. But keep in mind that more /etc by shells will give you the list of shells available. Okay, the last one is applications. Applications are the softwares you use for performing multiple
Actions. Tasks.
simple. Okay. Now
Okay.
let us go back to our diagram and then discuss these things. Okay.
Okay.
Now let us go here. So hardware understands what? Machine language only, which is bits and bytes of information. So when, for example, you have opened a terminal. Okay. Terminal is an application. Okay. Once you have opened the terminal, you have said, boss, give me the date. For example, I'll show you a small thing. Same happens in the Linux also. I'm doing it in Windows. Okay. So
Okay.
this is terminal. This terminal is an application. So I'm saying date. So it has given me the date, correct?
Yes.
The current date is given to me. So what happens here is when you said date, this particular date is there, no? This particular date. This particular date is there, no? This date. This date will come to shell. This date will come to
Shell.
why is it not moving? Come on. Let's move. Yeah. This date comes to shell. So shell takes the date. Okay. Then understands that, okay, this is the command called date. Okay, fine. Let it be. Let me give it to kernel. Kernel takes the date. Kernel is like heart of the operating system. It acts as an interface between shell and the hardware, right?
Yes.
And the kernel also has these drivers of generic hardware. What is a driver generally? Whenever you install a particular hardware, there comes a software with it. For example, in the earlier days, before Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows XP, in that time, if you know, for the audio drivers, you need to for the audio to work, you need to install a particular software which is called audio drivers.
Yeah.
Earlier, we used to install the Realtek audio drivers. Otherwise, nowadays, for the graphic cards also, you're particularly running a software called driver. So for the generic hardware, what is the generic hardware? The basic hardware that is there in your system. For that particular thing, you have the drivers. Those drivers are already loaded into the kernel. So by using all those things, it will channelize this command. Okay, what kind of command is this? Okay, this is date command. Okay, let me translate and give it to the hardware. Then hardware processes this information and says, okay, you're asking me for the date. Let us see what I can do. So today's date is 21/07/2023. Correct?
Right.
So this is the date. Kernel, here is what you have asked for. It will give it to kernel. Then the kernel will give it to shell. Shell will give it to the application called terminal. And on the terminal, you will be finding the output of your command. Understood? Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Clear?
Yes.
So this is how the architecture of Linux works. Got it? So any command from the application will come to shell. Shell is the command line interpreter. Whatever is entered into the application will be taken by the shell. Shell gives it to kernel. Kernel gives it to hardware. Hardware gives the output back to kernel. Kernel gives the output back to shell. Shell then gives it to the application, and application displays you the output of that particular command. Any command, any complicated command, any script you run, any command you run, anything should be passing through all these layers back and forth so that you get your answers. Understood?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes.
Clear? Any questions? You can ask me if you have any questions.
No.
No. Okay. So this is about the Linux architecture. So good, very good, sir. Linux architecture we have finished. Okay. Then you have said there are so many shells available. Correct?
Yes.
You did not talk about it, sir. There are so many types of shells available. But why are there so many types of available and what are they? You need to talk about it. So now let us go back to the previous class. Okay?
Mhm.
In the previous class, we have discussed something called open source. Correct?
Yes.
During the open source, what we have discussed? Anyone? Anyone? What have we discussed in the open source? What is the meaning of open source?
Open source is like
The source code.
Okay. Source code what? Source code?
Um,
that is that makes the I mean, not the software, operating system can be used by different people or organizations, like,
So
and
source
change it.
code is given to all over the world
Aha.
for free
Yes. And they can
so
utilize
that
and make changes
if necessary.
like
correct,
however they want.
correct, nice, very good, very, very good. Now you have said open source, superb. Now millions of people customized Linux, correct?
Right.
So for example, I have given you a canvas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And on the canvas, there is an elephant. And I gave you watercolors. I gave you watercolors. Understanding it?
Mhm.
So now these watercolors, you have gray color, black color, green color, blue color. You can use any color on the elephant, I said. And what will you do? Somebody will use gray, somebody will use black, correct?
Mhm.
According to our
Somebody
wishes.
somebody will make it green, somebody will make it blue according to their choice, correct?
Yeah.
See, elephant is gray in color, but you have the when given a choice that you have so many colors, you can use any color. I want a green elephant. Somebody wants a blue elephant. Correct. That's how children work,
Mhm.
right? Correct or not?
Yes.
So we have the discretion that it is gray in color, so we will be using gray because we are adults. But the children, what they will do? They will, if they have pink, they will just smudge pink on it. So that they get a cool pink elephant, correct? So now when there is an open source operating system and millions are working on it, there is a chance that people will use multiple shells, correct or not?
Yes.
Multiple GUIs.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my GUI in Windows looks something like this. I don't like it. I don't like my Linux to be having this layout. So let me change the layout of it. For example, if you see Mac, there will be a dock here from where you can directly access something. Correct?
Yeah.
For example, if you see a Red Hat, you will not find icons on the desktop. Like that, multiple GUIs and multiple shells came into existence. Understood? So the distribution is nothing but kernel. Nobody can change the kernel. Kernel plus shell plus GUI. Now kernel remains the same. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a chance that you can use shell and GUI different shells, different GUIs you can use. Understood?
Yes.
So when I said different shells and different GUIs, Linux is made with C. Linux is made with C language. So a part of Linux, which is shell, can also be made with C language. So people made their own shells. So shell changes, the commands that come with shell will also change. Understood? Hello?
I didn't understand this. Shell changes the commands that come with shell means like if
For
shell
example,
gets different languages, it changes. Is it?
let me
Okay.
go through it. Okay.
Mhm.
Shell. There are several types of shells available. I said more
Yes.
/etc by shells is the command you will be running
Yes.
to find out the list of shells available. There is bash shell. There
Mhm.
is a sh shell, the first shell. This is called shell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, the computer scientist named Bourne made one more shell. He made shell, and again he made one more shell that is called bash. This is called Born again shell.
Born again. Okay.
Bourne is the name of the scientist. Okay, Born again
Shell.
shell. Then there is KSH, which is corn shell.
Okay.
There is CSH. There is TCSH. There are so many types of shells available. Now, the commands that shell brings are different from one another. Different from one another. For example, I can use LL command in bash for the long list. But in SH, you have to use ls-l. Like that, the commands will change. Understood?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
The same thing. For example, this gives the long list of files or directories. The same happens here. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
But the command is different. Got it?
Got it.
Now, default shell for Red Hat Enterprise Linux is bash. Okay?
Okay.
And 99% of market uses it.
Bash.
Market uses bash. Sir, you said 99% of the market. There is 1% left. What if I get the job in 1%? Then you have list of shells available. You can change the shell and use accordingly. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Understood?
Yes.
How to change it, sir? There's a command for it. We will see that later. Okay?
Okay.
So, 99% of the market uses bash. So, we will be learning bash. Understood?
Yes.
So now, sir, you have said we will be using bash. Nowadays, what are the list of shells available, sir? This was earlier. It used to be like this. In the Red Hat 7, Red Hat 6, we used to get all the shells. Now you get only bash and sh. Okay? You will get only
These two are used.
these two are used.
Okay.
If you are using Mac, you will be having KSH.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? So again, your company will not be that rich to afford KSH. They will be using SH or BSH.
So
But
you mean to say this bash and sh is used both in Linux and Windows also, or only in
no,
Linux?
only Linux.
Linux.
Only
Okay.
Linux.
Okay.
We are talking about Linux only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So
Windows
Mac
uses
also
something.
uses Linux?
Sorry?
You told few
Mhm.
company having Mac
Mm,
will use KSH, right?
correct.
So Mac also will be having Linux.
Mac is Linux.
Okay, got
We
it.
have already discussed it in the last class. You need to
Got
refer to the
confused.
last
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
But unfortunately, the video was not sent. That's why these questions. Okay.
Okay.
So,
It takes some time.
worry not, it
Yeah.
happens. It happens, it happens.
Mhm.
So you will be using Bash because 99% of the market will be using Bash. Bash means born again shell. Born again shell. Okay, good, nice. So now you have understood the architecture of Linux, correct?
Mhm.
There are different types of kernels also available. Kernels are also different types. But Linux uses a kernel called monolithic kernel. Monolithic kernel.
Kernel.
What is a monolith? You might have heard this term. Do you
Yeah,
go to
script, monolithic
in,
script.
any of you go to temples?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
When you go to temple, usually there will be statues, right? With
Sorry?
there will be
Statues, yeah.
sculptures,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So usually some people will say, "Oh, look at this Nandi. This is a monolithic Nandi." For example, if you go to Lepakshi in Andhra Pradesh, there's a huge Nandi which is sitting there, and that's a monolithic sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
Monolithic means made of single stone.
Now I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Huh.
My baby is not feeling well. I need to run to the hospital. I'll contact you tomorrow.
Sure, sure,
Bye, bye, bye.
sure. Who's that? Ah, okay, Chandani. Okay, right. Okay, somebody else should talk to me. Swati,
Yes,
yes, take the lead. All right.
I'm only talking from that time.
Oh, you're only talking from that time. Okay, cool. Bad,
Okay.
bad listening. Can't do anything.
Happens starting.
Yeah, 2-3 days, I'll get accustomed to voices.
Yeah.
Okay, so monolithic kernel, correct?
Yes.
So when there's a Nandi sitting in the Lepakshi and we call it monolithic statue or monolithic sculpture because it is made of single stone.
Single stone. Okay.
So when you are calling monolithic kernel,
Mm-hmm.
every process on Linux or operating system, every process passes through single kernel. Okay?
Okay.
Single kernel, what do they call? Space. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There are two spaces called user space
Okay.
and there is something called system space or the kernel space. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need this actually because nobody will be asking you these questions. Okay, but
Mm.
understand that Linux uses monolithic kernel. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing else. Say that too, there will be some sadists who will be asking you, okay, you know Linux, right? Okay, fine. What type of kernel does Linux uses? If he is asking, consider him a sadist. No people will ask you. No sane person will ask you what kernel does
Linux
the
use.
Linux use. But understand that it is a monolithic kernel because some sadists will be there who will be asking these questions. Okay.
Okay.
So Linux uses monolithic kernel.
Monolithic kernel.
Simple. That's all. What are the different types of kernels available? He may ask. Then say there is monolithic kernel. Okay. There is monolithic kernel. Then there is hybrid kernel. Then there is exokernel. Then there is nano kernel. Nobody will ask you what are these. Okay.
Okay. So previously you told that
Hmm.
shells are different, but kernel is the same,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And after that, now we are speaking about there are different types of kernels also. And This is how we started. So I'm little
This is
confused with
Linux.
that part.
This is Linux.
Mm-hmm.
This is Windows.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is used in supercomputing or some medical purposes. Exokernels and nanokernels are used.
Okay, so Linux will only use
Not
medical
related,
purpose.
not really related. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So you have to understand that Linux uses monolithic kernel. That's all.
Okay.
If some zadist goes ahead and asks you what are the different types of kernels, then say hybrid kernel, exokernel, nanokernel. Hybrid
Okay.
kernel is used in Windows.
Mhm.
Exokernel and nanokernel are used in RFID, small scale computing, medicine, etc. Simple. That's all.
Fine, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
He will not be diving deep into kernel. Then he will be saying okay, and then he has multitude of options to ask you, because he can say okay, then Ansible, then Terraform, then there, then here. Nobody will ask you these basics. Okay.
Okay.
So Linux uses something called monolithic kernel. Okay, good.
Mhm.
We have seen this one. Now let us talk about something called file system hierarchy in Linux. Okay. Let us have the introduction to the file system hierarchy. That is on Monday. On Monday, what we will do is Monday we will sit and do this thing. Monday we will sit and do the AWS account creation. Okay. And then we
Okay.
will spin our Linux machine on AWS. Okay.
Okay.
You need not run a VMware or something. We'll be doing everything in cloud so that you will have a real-time exposure.
Okay.
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 So everything will be like real time. For example, if you are getting connected to your office, you will connect via terminal only. So or terminal like putty. So we will discuss these things later. So don't worry about these things. All right.
Okay.
So now let me draw something. You all know tree, correct?
Right.
You all know tree. I'm bad at drawing, but please tolerate me. So these are roots, correct?
Yes.
Then there will be branches, correct? Then there
Yes.
will be trunk and then there will be branches and there are leaves. This is how the tree looks, correct?
Yes.
So now you have to understand that it is growing upwards, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There is root, then there is trunk, then it is getting distributed upwards, correct?
Right, right.
So now let us think about inverted tree. Then what happens? Then roots are there,
Mm-hmm.
then there is trunk, then there are branches, correct?
Yes.
Then there are leaves and twigs, and the tree will be like this. Now the tree is growing downwards, correct?
Yes.
So Linux file system follows something called inverted tree architecture. That
Okay.
is why Linux is very secure. Linux is secured because
It
of
uses
the
inverted tree architecture.
file
The
system
hierarchy.
hierarchy. File system
Hierarchy.
hierarchy. So Linux is secure, reliable. Before this, we have to discuss a few things about Linux. Linux is reliable. Okay. Spin a machine
Mm-hmm.
and run it for an year, it works fine. You need not stop or do anything. Understood?
Okay, so continuously it can work for a year.
Continuously work for an year, run for an year.
Mm-hmm.
Continuously work for an year, run for an year, run the applications on it continuously for an year, but still it will work fine without a reboot.
Okay, okay.
But Windows, you have to reboot it again and again and again. Again, you will be pushed updates. Then after updates, it will be rebooting. No rebooting, nothing. You put it there, it will work unless and until you stop it or reboot it.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
It is lightweighted operating system. It has no huge GUIs, graphical user interfaces. For example, in Windows, you have around 2 GB or 4 GB graphical interface. The graphical interface of Linux is very small. And commands do the magic. Even if you want to perform a big task like copying 10,000 files, it will happen in seconds. Let me show you. All right.
Okay.
Don't go with the commands. You'll get scared. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you the warning beforehand, and also please don't curse me for doing this, because in coming days you will be learning all these things. Don't worry, and then you will be running commands better than me. So don't follow the steps. Don't ask me anything. Just see. Okay.
Okay.
Don't follow the steps. You'll be doing all these steps on Monday. So just don't. Okay. I have logged in into my machine. Okay. This is my cloud machine. So let me create a small folder here. Okay. Let me create a small folder here. First of all, let me create a small folder here. So mkdir is the command. Make directory is the command to make a directory. Mkdir dir. Okay. Let me go into the directory cd dir. Okay. Let me create 10,000 files here. Touch file 1 to 10,000. Okay. Enter. The 10,000 files got created. ls and check.
Oh,
How much time did it take?
few seconds.
Few seconds. Okay, nice. So let me come back. Okay. There is something called dir. I'll make one more directory. mkdir dir1. I will be now copying dir into dir1. Means directory has
Right.
10,000 files. We are copying 10,000 files. Check. Done. Done. cd dir1. ls, there is dir1. Again cd dir. ls, your 10,000 files. How much time did it take to get copy?
Yeah, few seconds only.
Do that in Windows. How much time will it take?
Hmm.
It will take eternity to copy 10,000 files. You know it, I know it. Why? Why? Because you have a huge GUI.
Yeah.
GUI is graphical user interface.
User interface.
You click and go. If you click and go, it will take eternity. If you type and go, it will take seconds. Because it is lightweighted. Now what you have understood, Linux is fast.
Fast. Yes.
Linux is fast due to the complicated command sets that come with it. Okay.
Okay.
But once you learn the commands, you will do tasks in seconds. Understood?
Yes.
Linux is secure. Windows gets viruses. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, what we used to do, we used to copy
Install antivirus.
copy these movies, right? From
Yes.
the friends. We used to get the pen drive and put it, and then suddenly you find something like movie.exe, and then there is movie. You click on movie.exe, and every file in your Windows will be having ext extension. That virus is called Trojan. There are viruses like Trojans and worms. Worm is a program that is designed to delete the data from your system. Trojan is what replicates. For example, ever encountered a Trojan in your life? Any time?
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yes.
So these are the things that will happen. Trojan is something that replicates. There is a movie called Trojan Horse. There's a story called Trojan Horse. We have also read it in schools. So what happens is Greeks go to the war. They will make a small wooden horse, and inside the wooden horse, soldiers will sit. And that horse is carried into the city. Then they will break the horse and come out and then do a war. The same happens here. For example, in the Trojan, what happens is, for example, you are copying a movie. For example, there is a movie called John Wick. So now there is John Wick 0.80p, something. Then there is .mkv extension. Then you have John Wick 1080p. The same thing it will come. mkv.exe it will come. If you click on exe, whatever file you have, even if it is a small document like document 1, then there will be document 1.exe. Understood?
Yes.
So this is the virus. Why this virus spreads really fast? When you run an executable on Windows, is it getting complicated? No, right? Hello?
I understand this. When you run an executable on
There's
Windows.
one more person already. So I have to ask them also. Navya,
Yes, sir.
is it going okay? Is it getting complicated?
No, sir.
Getting okay, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you run an executable on Windows, what happens? What is the Windows file system hierarchy? There will be C, there will be D, there will be E, there will be F. If you put a pen drive, it will become G, correct?
Yes.
So Windows is in C usually, correct?
Yes.
So what happens when you execute? When you execute, it will execute from system32 in the program files. Where is the program? Program files is on C, correct?
Yes.
Once you run an executable here, something like .exe here, so that .exe is running through Windows, which is on C. So anything you are running, any virus you are running will be running from the C. And the first thing that goes off is your C. Once the C is gone, your system is gone. Correct?
Yes.
This is the main problem with Windows. But what happens with Linux is, Linux follows something called inverted tree architecture. This is KGF level security. So there will be root, which is the top level directory, and this top level directory spreads into so many directories. For example, I'll draw something. Okay, let us not use this. Let us use this one and draw. Okay. So everything starts with root, and that extends down into directories. Again, from these directories, it will extend down like this. From this directory, it will extend down like this. So what is happening here? It is all starting with something called forward slash or root, and it is extending downwards if you see. This is an inverted tree, correct?
Yes.
So it follows an inverted tree architecture. So somewhere you have put the pen drive here, it will execute from here itself. If you are executing it, it will execute from here itself, not here. Understood?
Okay.
In the C, what is happening? It executes from C, correct?
Yes.
Where your operating system is. So here it will not get executed. Here it will execute. And when it executes here, it stays here, not here. So the virus, even if it enters, it is confined to this folder. It cannot come out. Understood?
Got it.
So that is why Linux is very secure. Linux is
Very secure.
very secure. You don't have to worry about the security with Linux because because most of the 99.9% of the viruses which are designed are programmed in such a way that they eat away Windows. They can't eat Linux. Linux is like that jawbreaker candy that comes. It never gets crushed. Understood?
Got it.
So now I will stop it here. Okay.
Okay.
So on Monday, we will be creating an AWS account. Okay.
Okay.
What do you need to create an AWS account? You need a debit card. Okay. You need a debit card.
Debit card.
Correct. Because you have to give your debit card information there, and they will be charging you 2 rupees. Okay. To
Okay.
create the account. Second thing, it is pay as you go. It is pay as you go. And there are free services there for 1 year. We will be using free services only. We will not be using anything so that we get billed. Even if we get billed, we will talk to the Amazon customer care and they will take it away. Don't worry about the bills. Okay. Even if you get 3,000 rupees bill, you can call them and say, I'm just practicing. I'm not using it for the business purpose. They will waive it off. Understood?
Okay.
So you need a debit card to create a AWS account. That is one thing that is mandatory for everyone. Even you create it, I create it. Anybody who creates it should give their debit card details. So keep your debit card handy. That is one thing you should do. Once we have created AWS account, it takes 24 hours to activate. Okay.
Okay.
So tomorrow, so tomorrow, that is on Monday, correct? So Monday we will be dealing with AWS account creation
Okay.
and Linux instance creation. Okay.
Okay.
And we will also see how to log in into that Linux machine. We will see. Understood?
Okay.
Machine or instance, you can call it machine, otherwise you can call it instance. No problem. Understood?
Okay.
So from Monday, your hands-on will start. Until today, you have heard so many stories. If the stories are over, we will go to the action part. We will just type till our fingers pain. So from Monday, the practicals will start. And one more thing, what I want to tell you is everything is hands-on. Okay. No story time, no huge stories. Everything will be hands-on. You will be typing commands, you will be entering commands, you will be doing a lot of stuff. Okay. First of all, it will be difficult for few days, and in a week you will get accustomed to it. So don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay.
I will give you the spoon feeding. Okay. But you have to be ready to understand that even spoon feeding is difficult. Okay. First 7 days. After 7 days, you will be like, sir, you are running the command wrong. You have to run this command. You will tell me. You will get accustomed like that. Why? I'll tell you. For example, how long are we using Windows from? We are using Windows from past 10 years or 15 years, correct?
Yes.
Now you got accustomed to Windows, so you can open something, you can do something. Take a 60-year-old person or a 50-year-old person or a 40-year-old person, give them your laptop. Will they be able to do whatever you are doing right now?
No.
Why? Because they don't
They're
have
not used to it. Yeah.
correct.
Yes.
So you have to get accustomed. You are learning a new operating system now. Linux is a new operating system to you. So you need to get accustomed to it. Once you got accustomed for 7 days or 8 days, you will be properly fine. Okay.
Okay.
For the first 7 days, we will be doing only basics in Linux. So you don't worry about it. Peacefully learn the basics. Once the basics are good, then the train catches the speed. Right?
Yeah.
So that's it for today. I'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
And Ganesh, you there?
Yes.
Please provide them the recordings.
Yeah, I shared them already.
Okay.
Swati, can you share your mail ID?
On call or should I message you?
No problem, even if you may mention it on call or mention
No
it on
issues.
no issues. You can
It's
do it as well.
Swati Ramachandra 5. Shall I spell it out?
Just a second, let me type. THI or TI?
SWATHI.
You can type into the chat. There is a chat here. See?
Yeah.
You can type into the chat. Yeah. Navya also